Yes, sir. Welcome back to another Trap or Die film session. I am your host of the Trap or Die podcast, Molly Mall, Coach Mall, Hen Dog Mall, all that good stuff, man. Jamal Forge. And listen, man, we're here for a Trap or Die film session previewing the week one opponents. It's gonna be a little bit fluid moving forward. I got to figure out my little niche as the season moves along. And also, it'll probably get easier once we actually get some game tape out there for the regular season. But right now, as we gear up for week one against the Arizona Cardinals, quick little preview into a couple of players that the Arizona Cardinals is going to be bringing into town. I understand that Washington has all the advantages in the world heading into week one, right? You have a new owner, new ownership, a sellout for the first time in some time. I'm not going to say give an exact number, but then you also have a new quarterback. You have these weapons with this new offensive coordinator. He's given a lot of toys that he can work with, and he's several steps above the previous offensive coordinator, Scott Turner. You have a returning defense that's going to be or should be lights out compared to last year, or at least lights out in the sense of they're coming back again with the same unit, just adding some pieces to the team and things like that. But in theory, Arizona shouldn't stand a chance. But it would be naive to suggest that they have absolutely nobody on their team that you should be honing in on. And I think at the very least, even though they are in flux at the quarterback position and have relatively inexperienced quarterbacks altogether, if their coordinator and their offense were to get on one accord in the regular season in the opening week against the Washington Commanders, there's going to be 4 people that's going to be a major contributor to why they're doing so. So without further ado, let's do this quick film session and breakdown of 4 players to watch in, to key in on as the Arizona Cardinals come into FedEx Field this Sunday.
Trap it down.
And before we get started, man, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know your comments and the thoughts as we push forward throughout this film session. And obviously, we appreciate your support throughout the season as we move along anyway. But let's go ahead and start out with the first guy, man. We're going to let things run out. We're not going to run everything back. But first one is James Conner. Obviously, as we all know, he's going into his second or third year with the Arizona Cardinals, drafted to Pittsburgh, came out of Pittsburgh University as well. Just a overall solid running back. Who has the vision. He's a bigger body back, but he has that vision. He has the agility, short area quickness to really create space for himself. But also, like you said, you see the vision right here. Like, he's a competitor. He's tough, man. He's hard to bring down. And I think for our offense, who needs as many playmakers as they can around the quarterback, starting with your run game, James is not a bad start. And then you look at Zach Ertz. Everybody that's in the NFC East and that's a Commanders fan knows who Zach Ertz is, man. He's a playmaker at the catch point. He knows how to run routes. He's also just as deadly in the red zone. I think that's where he's going to be most effective if Arizona is able to encroach or approach the 20 and in area. He has routes that gets him open really quickly, but he's also tough to bring down in open space. And I think that's what you're going to see right here as well. A 10-yard run that ultimately gets him in the end zone. He's fighting off 3-4 Vikings right there, right? And then obviously, again, you see him out in a tight split off the line, and he's able to run across it. That gets him open as well. Like, he knows how to rub. He knows how to create his own separation and things like that, which is why he's so deadly in the red zone. And that's another situation where, like, you're understanding the zone void for Zach Ertz. And I think regardless of who the coordinator is, regardless of who the quarterback is, like, these are things that makes what Zach Ertz is doing. These are things that make situations easier for the quarterback to read as a player like Zach. And then moving forward, you get Hollywood Brown, man. I don't know what everybody's opinion is on Hollywood, but I was able to scout him last year, just trying to get to know who he is and writing down his strengths and weaknesses. And I think one of the biggest things for Hollywood is, like, sure, he's small or thin in his frame, but he's a playmaker at the catch point. He has several different toolboxes or tools in his box. Well, I don't know what the word is, but he knows what he's doing at the catch point. And he can get you with the over the shoulder. He can jump in the air. He can hit you with a contested catch. He can make plays after the catch. And I think that's what makes him so dangerous. And that, again, sure, we're talking about a defense who should be at the top of their game in the Washington Commanders, but you can't ignore playmakers like this. And Arizona got these type of guys under Cliff Kingsbury for a reason. For them to be retained in Arizona, that's going to be something that you got to look at and say, all right, we might be in for in a dogfight. And that doesn't mean that we're looking at a Cardinals team that's going to put up 30. But if they're going to have some ways of creating yards and creating opportunities for each other, or for that offense to keep them in the game, then that's exactly these are exactly the guys that'll do it. And lastly, as we move on from Hollywood Brown, we're going to get into the last guy, and Rondale Moore. Rondale, I think, is entering his third year. And he's another guy who is a little different than the other ones. He's their Curtis Samuel. He typically gets a lot of passes within the first level of the defense, and he's able to make plays after the catch. That's the type of person that Rondale is. I'm sure they use him downfield, but that's primarily who Rondale is, a person who can catch the ball within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage and then be dangerous. I'm not going to say take everything to the house, but he's going to make some explosive plays like the last one that you saw for Rondale. So I think all of these guys are important to watch and important figures as we approach the week 1 game against the Arizona Cardinals. Who knows exactly how bad it'll be in terms of their effectiveness on the game, or how effective they will be, period. But at the same time, it ain't never difficult. I mean, it ain't never a cakewalk, right? These are NFL players. These are NFL teams. And Arizona has nothing to lose in week 1. So always keep that in mind when you think about the opponents that you're playing, but also the weapons that they have. They still got some pretty good weapons. And if you got 2 decent receivers with a very good, smart tight end and a hard-nosed running back who knows how to use the offensive line in front of them and manipulate linebackers, then you're going to see some type of fight from a team that isn't viewed or considered as a formidable opponent. I leave it like that. With that being said, man, that was our film session as we gear up for the Arizona Cardinals. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We definitely appreciate it if you did so. And until next time, we'll see you next week. Previewing who? The Denver Broncos and the Washington Commanders for week 2. Yes, sir, man. Peace.
Chop it down. Chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Chop it down. You gon' chop it down. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole, or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long, or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.